The last one I'm going to read from is Firedark. It is the first of my 5-book Firedark series. This is a series that is told from multiple point of views. The first book is told from 4 different ones, and the subsequent books are all told from 5 different point of views, third-person point of views. In this book, we have Sir Gabriel is known as the Firedark. Nobody really knows what that means, though. At a young age, he suddenly had this ability to wield fire in a magical way, but he doesn't really know why. He doesn't even know the extent of what he can do. He has, however, found a group of some others and has this little secret band of people that he's training to do similar things to what he can do, not quite the same, but Calla is someone who has learned of this little secret band, and she wants to be trained in the fire magic, and she has traveled all the way across the kingdom to where he lives in the royal city to be taught by him. Bad luck for her, he's away when she first gets there, and but she is able to locate a secret band and ask to be a part of it, and they say, well, we can't make that decision without Gabriel here, but we will test you to see if you even have the potential to possibly be able to do this. So they test her out, something crazy happens that none of them understand, and they tell her to stop and not do anything else until Gabriel gets back. Gabriel does come back. At this point, they've had a few interactions, and initially he has no interest in seeing what she can do and is like, no, I'm not going to. At this point, he's changed his mind, and he's going to see what it is she did before that nobody understood. And so here they are, they're alone together in a clearing in the middle of the wood at night. And Calla's going to try again. Calla narrowed her eyes, but she did not say anything except, am I to begin now? Whenever you wish. She wet her dry lips. And I simply do as I did before. You were stalling. I'm not, she lied. He didn't respond, and Calla set her mind to the task. She had not closed her eyes on that day with Farynyk and Acker and Drex. She had chosen to look at the light, to imagine that the particles were miniature flames. Now, here she was with an actual fire. It seemed only logical that looking at it and focusing on its flickers and sparks would be the best avenue for success, but something told her that it was not. Somehow she felt that the act of imagining the flames had been what had helped her before. And so, while she had been unwilling to expose herself to vulnerability by closing her eyes in the daylight with 3 of the heat vendors, she now closed them as she stood alone in the night with Gabriel. She tried to imagine the warmth in the cold night air. She tried to feel the heat that had soaked into the earth from the rays of the suns. She embraced the prickling emission of the nearby fire and imagined the twists and daggers of its flames. But just as before, she only continued to feel cold, and colder still, and colder still. Stop, Gabriel said. His hand was on Calla's wrist, and her eyes snapped sharply up to his. What? He asked, dropping his hand. She shook her head. I thought your skin would be hot to the touch. Gabriel's expression was inscrutable. I'm not actually made of fire, you know. I'm sorry. There is no need to apologize. He took a step back. You're not the first one to assume colorful things about me, and that's one of the tamest assumptions by far. Calla felt herself chastised. Gabriel said that she should not apologize, but she did not agree. Who was she to make assumptions about him? She didn't know the truth even about the Amenti Firedark, so she certainly did not know the truth about this man, this human Firedark. She had only been so blunt because he had startled her. She had been focusing on the heat, and then out of nowhere he had been touching her and telling her to stop. Stop what? What had she done? She thought of the deep cold she had felt. It was the same cold she had felt the other time she had tried, and though she knew that there was something interesting in it, she also knew that it was not the desired effect. I failed, didn't I? She asked, not wanting to hear the answer. He was looking at her with his face drawn in contemplation. Then, to her utter surprise, he let out a sigh and sat down, rather plopped down, really, onto the fallen tree. Calla remained standing for an awkward moment or two as he sat, staring into the fire. What was she meant to do? May I? She started to ask, anxious not to interrupt his ponderings, but feeling uncomfortable as she was. Aye, sit, he said impatiently. She did so, and they sat for some moments in silence. The weather was starting to change, and the mist that so commonly filled that wood were seeping into it now, creating a haze in the air, making everything appear otherworldly and unreal. You did not fail, Gabriel said at last. A faint hope buoyed Calla's heart. But you did not succeed either. The hope left. She wanted to ask what he meant, but she had a strong suspicion that he did not actually know. Instead, she said, I If I did not fail and I did not succeed, what did I do? He turned to look at her, but his eyes were glazed. I don't know.